How to sketch. The Brother Skitch PP1 is a desktop, free-arm embroidery machine. It is controlled by the free Brother mobile design app, Artspira. Before we get started, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that follow button. We post lots of project and tutorial videos on this channel and would hate for you to miss out. Let's get started. Firstly, let's take the Skitch out of its box. Be sure to check all parts of the Skitch's packing. To save on waste, we pack parts of the machine within the packing materials. We'd hate for you to throw something important away and have to buy a replacement. Let's see what the Skitch PP1 comes with. Needle set. To get you started, we include a set of needles with the machine. Your Skitch PP1 only uses embroidery needles. 2 pre-wound bobbins. Without a bobbin inserted correctly, you won't be able to embroider. Seam ripper. Always comes in handy in case you make a mistake. Scissors, perfect for snipping away loose threads and tidying up your work. Cleaning brush. It's important to keep your machine free of dust, dirt, lint, bits of thread, and broken needles so that it can work properly. Check your machine every time you start and finish using it. Disc-shaped screwdriver. The perfect tool for changing needles and removing the needle plate. Large, medium and small spool caps. These keep your thread in place and flowing smoothly. Thread spool insert to help keep your thread spool steady. Magnetic embroidery frame. This is exactly what you'll place your fabric in to carefully stitch your design onto. Felt fabric and stabilizer so you can conduct a trial run. We supply black embroidery thread to conduct a trial run. Operation manual and quick reference guide. Keep these handy. Please note, the included items may change over time or depending on which country you have purchased your machine in. Power cord. Let's get this plugged in and set up. But first, what else do you need to embroider? Different types of stabilizers, embroidery thread, 90-weight bobbin thread, fabric or items to embroider onto, and spare needles. It's a good idea to purchase these supplies before you start working on your Skitch. How to set up your Skitch properly. First, let's gently take this tape off the machine. Make sure you get every last bit. Inserting the bobbin. Always use the correct bobbin and bobbin thread. In this case, we have the pre-wound bobbin with a thread weight of 90. This is the right thread to use for your Skitch PP1. When your bobbin runs out of thread, you can easily wind a new bobbin using the bobbin winder that is built into the machine, but more about that later. To insert your bobbin, remove the clear plastic cover from the arm of the machine. Gently click down and slide out. Take one of your pre-wound bobbins, pull the tail, and make sure it is making the shape of a P. Then place into the bobbin case. This hole here, in the front of your machine. Pull the tail to the left, making sure to catch the little metal hook on the front left-hand side of the bobbin case. Move the tail up and to the left, following the groove around until you come to the end. There is a little blade at the end of this track, which will cut the excess thread for you. Now replace the bobbin cover. Do not thread the upper thread yet. We first need to switch on the Skitch and connect to Artspira. This is a very important step to remember. Never thread your machine while it is off. The needle position might be in the wrong position when your machine is off, and it could damage the needle threader when threaded with the machine powered off. Inserting the needle. A needle is used to stitch the embroidery pattern onto your fabric. Your machine will come with a needle pre-installed, but let us show you how to replace and insert the needle for future reference. Always place a piece of paper under the needle when replacing so that the needle doesn't accidentally fall into the working of your machine. Take the circle screwdriver and undo the black plastic screw on the side of the needle holder. The needle head is the fatter part of the needle. Make sure the flat side of the needle head is facing towards the back of the machine. Take your needle and insert under the number 6, which is marked on the front of the needle holder. Insert the needle as far as it will go so it is abutted against the needle stopper. Hold in place and tighten. Make sure the needle is secure. Otherwise, your needle may break and cause damage to your fabric and your machine while in use. Remember to remove the paper and any old needles once you have finished. Switching on your machine and installing the Artspira app. Let's turn the machine on. Make sure it's plugged into a wall socket and that the wall socket is turned on. Now let's install Artspira, Brother's free mobile design app. This is how you will control your sketch. You only need the free version of the app to operate your sketch. You do not have to subscribe to Artspira Plus to operate your machine. However, the subscription will give you access to more designs and fun features to explore if you do sign up. Download Artspira from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Just search for Artspira or scan the QR code on this screen. You will need to create a free account to operate your machine. Once you've set up your account, open the app and we'll get started. Before we can start embroidering, we need to connect our machine to Artspira. Press the Bluetooth button on your sketch and hold it down for 2 seconds. The light will start blinking and you will hear a beep. From the Artspira home screen, click on the little machine icon in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Find the embroidery machine section and press connect. Then press Bluetooth model. If you receive error message, used maximum number of machines, on the Artspira app screen, it means that no more machines can be registered to Artspira. Delete one of your connected embroidery or scan and cut machines, then repeat the process for connecting your sketch. You can always add in your other machines later when you want to use them again. Artspira will now guide you through the step-by-step setup. Select your sketch machine when it comes up and press connect. When the Bluetooth button on your sketch goes solid, it means your machine is connected. Now we're connected. Next, press the right tick button to move the embroidery carriage into the right position. This step is important to do before you thread your machine. Threading the machine, safety first. It's best practice to lock your machine whenever you change the needle, open the stitch plate, or when threading the needle to avoid accidental injuries. Lock your machine by pressing and holding the tick button until the green light starts flashing. Once you're finished, press and hold the tick button until the green light goes off, at which point your machine is ready to embroider again. Before we thread the machine, please remember to always use good quality branded embroidery thread with your sketch. This will ensure the best quality stitch outs and will avoid unnecessary thread or needle breakages and other operating errors. To start, make sure the spool stand is in the right position. Take your included black Brother thread and place it onto the spool holder at the top of your machine. We always thread the sketch with the embroidery thread coming from the bottom of the thread spool. Use a spool cap to secure the spool onto the holder. For Brother embroidery threads, we use the medium spool cap. Make sure the thread spool can't move around. If you have a larger thread spool, use the larger spool cap. A smaller one, use the smaller cap. When you use embroidery cones, Use the small long spool cap insert to keep the thread steady. Spool caps make sure your thread feeds smoothly and keeps the tension correct. If you use any Brother embroidery machine and do not use a spool cap, you will get a poor stitch out, your thread or needle can break, and you may damage the machine. Thread your machine following the numbers printed onto the machine, starting with number 1. Take special care at point 1, making sure your thread goes under the small metal plate where the arrow is pointing towards. You need to make sure the thread is caught by each part of the machine it travels through. At point 4, it is important to make sure the thread is caught by the hook. The most important and most fiddly bit is point 6. The thread should hook in properly here. Best is to use 2 hands to make sure the thread is securely hooked into the small metal plate and is sitting all the way over to the left-hand side. Once you have come through point 7, bring your thread to the other side of the machine to point 8. This is a little thread cutter and will cut the exact amount of thread needed. Now, making sure your thread is still caught in number 7, firmly press down the lever marked 9 and the machine will thread the needle for you. Pull the thread loop through and thread through the embroidery foot. Your machine is threaded. Don't worry, threading a machine takes practice and will seem hard at first, but if your machine is set up right, and after a few practice rounds, you will be able to do it in your sleep. Stitching out a practice pattern. Return to the home screen. Your mobile device will prompt you to start a trial run. Click Start, then click Create, then Done, then Transfer. For this trial run, Artspira will highlight the buttons for you. Every time you send a pattern to your sketch, you can access these handy setup videos covering the correct way to set up your bobbin thread, your magnetic frame, and the upper thread. When you are ready to stitch out, press Done. Before you press Do a trial run, we need to prepare the magnetic frame. Preparing the magnetic frame. It is important to understand the basics of embroidery and what is needed to embroider. You will always need stabilizer to ensure a good result. But more about this later in the video. You have 1 piece of stabilizer and 1 piece of fabric that came with the machine. Open your magnetic frame by removing the top part. Place the bottom part of the frame, the lighter grey side, on the table. Place your stabilizer onto the bottom frame and then add your fabric. Make sure there are no creases or folds. Place the top of the embroidery frame over everything, making sure it's lined up properly. The magnets are strong, so use 1 hand to keep it steady. When your fabric is hooped, it should be smooth and tight, but not overstretched or distorted. We always say it should sound like a drum when hooped correctly. It's time to do a practice run. Now we're ready for that practice run. Press the trial run button and when prompted, press the accept button, the tick on the front of the machine. Attaching the magnetic embroidery frame. When the machine is ready, it will prompt you to attach the embroidery frame. Line the 2 metal spikes up with the 2 holes on the mechanism at the back of your machine. Press until you hear a click and the little black lever moves to the left. Press the accept button again. Now the embroidery frame will move. This is your machine checking everything is good to go. Press OK and then press the big Go button on the front of your machine. It will be flashing green. If the light is red or orange, your machine is not ready to embroider. Artspira will tell you why. Once your embroidery is finished, the app will alert you. To remove the frame from the machine, press the lever and remove the frame by sliding it towards you, underneath the embroidery foot. Finishing off a design. You will note that your completed embroidery sometimes has these long jump stitches. This is totally normal. Once your design is completely finished, you need to carefully trim all these long threads with the small scissors that were included in the box. How to get the best results from your sketch? Now that you've completed your first piece, let's talk about how to get the best out of your Brother Skitch PP1 embroidery machine so that you can create the best quality embroidery and, most importantly, have fun. Know your stabilizers. When we embroider fabric, we always use a stabilizer underneath. This provides structure to the fabric and keeps everything stable in your embroidery hoop. We can see how poorly the embroidery has been stitched on the hoop without the stabilizer. It has also torn the fabric. There are lots of different stabilizers, and you'll use a variety of different ones depending on your fabric and project. Some stabilizers are simply placed underneath. Some need to be ironed onto your fabric before use, and some have an adhesive, so fabric can be stuck to them. For most projects, the stabilizer is removed at the end of stitching. If your fabric has a deep pile, like a velvet or toweling, you'll want to add a layer of thin wash-away film on top, as well as your base, under the fabric stabilizer to stop your stitches sinking into the pile or the pile showing through. Here, you can see the difference in the quality of the stitch out between the top and bottom of this embroidery. On the top half of the design, we only used a base stabilizer. However, we added wash-away film to the bottom half of this design, which has a much neater and more professional-looking stitch out. As we can't discuss every stabilizer there is, you can find a very useful blog post called Know Your Stabilizers on the Brother Creative blog. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'll make sure it's linked in the notes. Hoop like a pro. On an embroidery machine, the embroidery frame keeps your fabric stable when embroidering. However, you need to make sure you have hooped your fabric carefully to get a good result. Make sure your fabric is smooth and tight. A good habit is to iron your fabric first if it is wrinkled. Make sure there are no lumps and bumps between the fabric and stabilizer. Do not overstretch your fabric, as when you take it out, you will find that your fabric has puckered around the embroidery design. This cannot be rectified. This is especially important when working with stretch fabrics. Some delicate, thick, or stretchy fabrics are best floated. Here, we only hoop the stabilizer. Then we add the fabric to the top of the stabilizer and secure in place with a basting stitch, sticky tape, or by using sticky back stabilizer. How you float your fabric depends on the material you are using in your project. Not everything can be hooped. It is important to make sure your hoop is lying flat with both sides together and catching the fabric. Unlike a traditional flatbed embroidery machine, the Brother Skitch has a free arm. This means it can embroider on tubular items like bags, sleeves, and legs. However, it is very important to make sure your item has enough room to move around the Skitch's free arm. Only hoop the side of the garment you wish the embroidery to be on. Otherwise, you'll stitch both sides of your garment together. Artspira's built-in embroidery patterns. Artspira has a huge variety of designs built in. If you have a free Artspira account, you can access any of the free Artspira embroidery patterns. You can also access any Disney-inspired designs. Disney-inspired designs can be purchased within the app and live within the Disney section of Artspira under Purchase. If you have upgraded to Artspira Plus, you can also access any of the paid designs or purchase Disney designs at a reduced rate. As a Skitch user, you also have access to 100 free Skitch exclusive designs, which can be found under the Specials heading at the bottom of the home screen. You can also search through all the designs in the Artspira library. Any design with a blue crown icon is only available to Artspira Plus subscribers. You can also add wording using the built-in fonts on the app and create fun designs with the various editing features. Some features are only available on Artspira Plus, but rest assured, the free version has plenty for you too. You can use any embroidery design up to 100 by 100 millimeters in size on your sketch. Bigger designs will not fit in your hoop and cannot be stitched out. Perfect placement is easier than you thought. Guessing the exact placement of an embroidery pattern can be difficult. However, the sketch has two free features to help you get it just right. For non-amended Artspira library designs, you can use the AR positioning feature and your mobile device's camera. Make sure Artspira has permission to access your device's camera. You can even use Artspira's color shuffling feature to see which colorway would work best for your project. For all designs, before you transfer them to your machine, click Layout and use the camera scanning function. This feature is super helpful for placement, especially when you want to place your design on an exact spot. For example, above a pocket. Sometimes adding positioning marks using chalk or water erasable pen can also be helpful. How to wind your bobbin properly. After you've completed a few embroidery designs, your bobbin will run out of thread. Your machine will alert you and stop stitching. Press the scissors button on your machine and carefully remove your embroidery frame. Place to one side. Remove the bobbin case cover and take out the bobbin. Take off any leftover thread. Place the bobbin onto the bobbin holder at the top of your machine. Take the embroidery thread off the spool holder and replace with bobbin thread instead. Remember, your Brother Skitch PP1 only uses 90 weight bobbin thread. Thread following the instructions on the top of your machine and click the bobbin into place. Like the embroidery thread, the bobbin thread needs to wind from the bottom of the spool. Press the Go button and wind your bobbin. When it gets close to being full, press the Go button again to stop the process. Then click out of place, cut the thread and remove the bobbin. Check it has wound properly. If it has wound badly, start again. One of the main reasons for poor winding is not threading properly. Make sure your bobbin thread is properly under the bobbin tension disc and follows the bobbin winding directions printed on your machine. Replace your bobbin and embroidery frame, rethread your machine and start embroidering again. The Artspira monitor will pick back up right where it stopped. Important. There are different weights of bobbin thread. The Brother Skitch PP1 only uses 90 weight embroidery thread. Using any other weight will result in a poor stitch out and may damage your machine. We recommend that you use the supplied plastic bobbins or genuine 11.5 mm clear plastic Brother bobbins in your sketch. Universal or other brand bobbins may not fit and may damage your machine. Troubleshooting. Sometimes things don't go to plan. Luckily, Artspira will alert you if there is anything you need to check or change on your machine. Needle stuck in down position. If your needle is stuck in the down position, check the machine to make sure your thread hasn't nested around the bottom of the needle. If so, gently cut this thread away. If your needle is stuck in the down position, you can use the hand wheel on the back of your machine to bring it up again. Only turn in the anti-clockwise direction. Poor quality stitch outs. If your stitch out isn't up to standard, there could be a few reasons. 1. Your fabric may be hooped poorly. 2. Did you use stabilizer and did you use the correct type? 3. Is your machine threaded properly? 4. Is your bobbin wound and threaded properly with the correct weight of embroidery thread? 5. Are you using a good enough thread? Only use branded, high-quality embroidery threads in your sketch. 6. Are you using the right needle? Embroidery machines must use embroidery needles, not sewing needles. There are different weights and types of embroidery needle depending on the fabric you are using. Only use high-quality, branded embroidery needles. 7. Have you replaced your needle lately? Needles become dull with use. As a rule, replace your needle every 6 to 8 hours of stitching. What to do if your needle breaks? Don't worry if you break a needle. It happens to all of us. Your skitch should automatically stop and alert you. If not, pause the machine as soon as you can. Cut your thread using the scissors button. If the needle tip can be seen, find it and bin it. It's time to check your machine. Remove the embroidery frame. Remove the bobbin cover and bobbin and check that there is no debris, such as a needle tip, in the bobbin case. You can also open the bobbin cover area at the front of the free arm. It's always good to check that the broken needle didn't damage your bobbin case. Check there are no nicks or holes in your bobbin case. If your bobbin case has been damaged, order a genuine Brother part from an approved Brother dealer. It's a good idea to order an extra, just in case. If you're having trouble removing the bobbin cover, you can use the screwdriver to remove the needle plate. Be careful not to drop the screws into your machine. If you have removed it, replace the needle plate first. To replace, angle the case down and click into place. Replace the bobbin case correctly, making sure there is a slight wobble. The correct alignment is to make sure the white dot and the white triangle are aligned. If they are not aligned and there is no wobble, take it out and start again. A poorly installed bobbin case will damage your machine. Once you have checked everything, put the bobbin back into the case and replace the cover. Place a piece of paper under your needle and remove the broken needle. Replace the needle as shown earlier in this video. Replace your embroidery frame, then rethread your machine. When you are ready to resume embroidering your pattern, choose Go Back to where the problem occurred in the Artspira app. You can also manually go back to where you'd like to start the stitch out from. This will ensure there are no gaps in your stitching. What to do when a thread breaks? Sometimes a thread will break. Artspira will alert you and stop your embroidery. 1. Check that you have placed the yarn spool onto the spool holder the right way around. The thread always feeds from the bottom of the yarn spool too. Check that the yarn hasn't wrapped around the spool holder. This can happen if you haven't pushed the spool cap holder on far enough, or if you are using the wrong size spool cap for the size of yarn spool. Use the thread spool insert for extra stability when using thread cones. 3. Check that you have threaded the machine properly. 4. Check the quality of your thread. Cheap thread is weakly woven and rough, causing it to break easily when it catches on your machine mechanism or needle eye. 5. Check the age of your thread. Thread becomes brittle with age, causing it to break easily. 6. Are you using the right needle for your thread? Remember to only use embroidery needles in an embroidery machine. Specialist threads, like metallics, need specialist needles. You can use the Artspira app Stitch Monitor to go back to where the problem happened and restart your embroidery from there. What to do when your machine loses connection? Your skitch connects to Artspira via Bluetooth. Sometimes this connection can drop. Don't worry, it's very easy to reconnect. Just click the little machine icon on the home screen and reconnect. Sometimes you might need to delete your machine from your Artspira memory and add again. Your machine can also lose connection if it hasn't been updated. You can check for updates under the machine's icon on the home screen. Using Artspira. To keep the sketch compact and desktop friendly, it is controlled via the Brother Artspira design app. Artspira is free to download and use. As a free user, you have access to all the free embroidery designs, AR placement, camera placement, stitch monitoring, plus basic design functions. You can also buy any Disney-inspired embroidery design. You can even upload your own designs into Artspira. Just make sure that they are PES format, or they won't work with our brother machines. Artspira Plus gives you access to hundreds more embroidery designs, cheaper Disney-inspired embroidery designs, more save slots, and superior editing functions, like more fonts, AI conversion, and more in-depth drawing tools. You can refer to the Brother website to find out more information. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'll add the link in the notes below, or you can scan the QR code on the screen if you need more support. And that's it! Now you know everything about your sketch to get started. If you do have any other questions or need support, there are lots of ways to get in touch with us. You can check out the support center on our website. You can watch other tutorials on YouTube, send us an email, or you can get lots of inspiration from our blog. You can also use the question mark icon next to your sketch on the machine settings screen in Artspira. Happy crafting!